I've got a pint of bitter. Yeah, at least I think it's bitter. Yeah, cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Short week, long weekend last weekend, no brewing, kids' birthday parties, all good. It was good to just chill, except all the housework. Not bad, not bad. So anyway, this is basically, it was a best bitter. You would have seen the video a little while ago, and yeah, that was for a local competition. That was well, it's not really local. It's an Auckland kind of Western Brewers Conference, WBC comp. I think they did a pale ale one about 6 months ago, and every 3 months, 4 months, they have a competition. And yeah, it's pretty much first place gets all the money, $10 per entry. Second place gets their $10 entry fee back, and third place gets to choose what the next style is. So anyway, I made a beer, and I've never brewed a bitter. I've done that at ESB, which was a bit of a wrong one, but it was alright. And yeah, toddled along, took the family actually. Bless the missus, she looked after the kids while I talked and waited for some results. And yeah, I got second, which was really good. I think it was out of about 17 entries, and the guy that won it, forget his name, he I think he brewed 4 times and entered 3 beers, so I was pretty happy with that. He was miles in front of everyone, including myself, but yeah, so I was pretty chuffed for that. That's the first, I guess the first 2 style comp I've done. Obviously I've done the SJ Paul, which you will have seen, but that was a bit of a free-for-all. How's your father? Just make a low ABV beer. Bit different when you're trying to brew to style. So yeah, cheers to the guys running that, and I got my $10 back, so it didn't cost me anything except for the brew. Stoked. Anyway, why do I enter a comp? It wasn't for wank factor or gloating or anything like that. It's basically for feedback. You know, I've had some esteemed colleagues review my beers, which is great, and it was just good to get some BJCP judges and brewers judge up, which was really cool. So yeah, it was at Hallertau. I had a good look around the back actually at the brewery. That was really neat to go behind all the curtains and see all the stuff. But anyway, I got a feedback sheet, which was really good. Basically, just some rookie mistakes, and but stuff that I'm really happy with. Number 1, low aroma. These are British hops, and they've been sitting in the fridge, probably at the homebrew store, for nearly a year. These are not fresh hops. You're not going to get huge aroma off them without something like dry hopping, but then I didn't want it to be too hoppy. So yeah, I'll freely admit that could do with some fresher hops, and it's always going to be a problem with British hops. Some good clarity, but no carbonation and very little head. Obviously there's a bit of a head now and a bit more carbonation, but it was straight off the tap. So next time I would I'd do a few test batches in terms of bottling off the keg. I bottled off the keg in the morning. I think there's a bit of CO2 that was lost and not absorbed back into the beer. Maybe I should have bottle conditioned it. Clarity was good, so yeah. And like a head, I think there's a good bit of body, but if there's no carb, there's not going to be a great head, so that's great. Bitterness was okay. Balance was affected by the carbonation. Some caramel notes. Unbalanced by chocolate roasted malt. I didn't stick to a recipe. I always chuck something in there funny, and yeah, it bites you in the ass. So if I hadn't put that roasted malt in there, some of the feedback I had from one of the judges was, you put something funny in there, some roast malt, and I said, yes I did. And he said, that did affect your marks. If you didn't do that and you had it carb properly, you'd be up there. So that's some real basic rookie mistakes, schoolboy errors, and yeah, I freely admit I should work on those things. And yeah, what's the final feedback? Good to style, some dark malts used which are not to style, undercarbonated, malt balance is okay but with little hops. So overall, yeah, do the basics right. Follow a recipe. Carb your beer. Okay, that's my feedback that I got. I'm passing on to you guys. If you ever do comps. One thing that was really interesting though was we got to, and that was probably the best thing about the comp, apart from getting some awesome feedback, if not obvious, which I should have dealt with. I'm so hard on myself. It's because of my bloody teacher. The best thing was tasting other guys' beers. So there were, I think, yeah, I mean there was 17 entries, so there were 17 beers to taste. So at the end, I got to try probably a good third of those, and man, what a range we had. We had some massive green apple. We had one that tasted like a Belgian, and just some really green appley beers. And once again, feedback from judges. They said that most people were not aerating the wort, and that's something that I kind of religiously do, and that's something they did compliment me on, was the really clean fermentation. So if you're not aerating your wort before you pitch your yeast, you've got to do that, because if the poor yeasties don't have enough oxygen, they will produce acetaldehyde. Yeah, acetaldehyde. That produces fruit flavours and green apple. Basically, aerate your wort. That was really good bit of feedback that a lot of people got, and thankfully I missed that. Here comes the rain. What else? Yeah, liquid yeast. I know some people swear by dry yeast, and I think some people think liquid yeast is a bit of a luxury. I don't think it matters so much whether it's a liquid or dry yeast, but I think a culture that has basically been doing well. It's if you've re-pitched a dry yeast that's already fermented a beer, so in other words, it's kind of like an active yeast, or you've done a big yeast starter with a liquid yeast. That's going to help. Once again, fermentation. We just make sugar, and it's the yeast that makes the beer. So anyway, enough. I'm not telling anyone to suck eggs, man. It's all stuff I've learned off the internet and books, and some of you guys. So yeah, cheers. Anyway, the next comp is going to be a dry stout. So I'm going to get busy on that, and I might enter that, seeing I've had kind of a little bit of encouragement with that result. So yeah, cheers WBC. Jeez, it's raining out there. Just dashed out to get this, which was another purchase of the mighty AliExpress. You might have seen me before. On this one, I've just got a plastic junction box that the brother-in-law fitted up for me as a temporary measure about a year and a half ago. And on this one over here, I've got a kettle enclosure or element enclosure, and yeah, I got another one off AliExpress because it was on special, $60. Can't really complain. So yeah, it's a nice wee fitting. This is all threaded. There's like a rubber gasket in there. There's our cord strain relief, and you can see a little earth screw in there, and that's a 1.5 inch triclover. So that's my second one, and it'll just tidy up the brewery and get a nice tight seal. Just a little bit better than that junction box. So another purchase from AliExpress is an element. I get another 2,500 watts, fully stainless steel element. It's a backup, or obviously I can fit that to that keg or another brew pot if I'm brewing it. But I'm just paranoid about blowing an element. And yeah, this I have thought about in this setup. I've just got a standard 1.25" BSP element, and yeah, this has worked me really well. It says stainless steel. You do get a little bit of surface rust on these, and obviously there's a bit of brass in there. So what's the difference? That one is a 3,000 watt element, and this one is 2,500. But the main thing is it's fully stainless steel, so there's no chance of rust, and it is a 1-inch shred, which obviously mates up to this one. So yeah, what can I do? I've talked about it last week as well. I've got that DN32 triclover which can thread into there, and as long as you leave it with a nice earth on it, that should be sweet to. So if I ever want to, if I blow that element again like I did in about Homebrew Wednesday 20, I can just quickly swap it out for this bad boy. So yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't mind trying to get a I think about a 3200 watt element, because I'm only running 15 amperes, so we'll see. That's about it. We've got a bit of a comp going with sort of just the local New Zealand brew tubers, and we've got Stas and Tim, the two Aussies. They're getting involved. It's the Lord of the Dank. You might have seen Dino with a little brew day. I talked about it a while ago. Pretty much, we're trying to brew up a really smelly, piney, resinous, cat's pea, rotting tropical fruit pale ale. So, I've got a brew day to show you next week, and I might be able to pull off a little bit of a sample and have a look at that. So, yeah, a little bit of R&D as to how you can get aromas, apart from using fresh hops, how to get some really good dankness in your pale ales and IPAs. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Sorry, it's a bit of a rant. I've got a couple of brew days coming up for you, and maybe start thinking about what I'm going to brew next. I'm thinking a wheat beer, and I'm thinking a Belgian IPA, but we'll see. Here comes the rain. Have a great week. See you.